Hello.
Hello.
Hey, it's so good to have you guys here today. Finally, we can get the show on the road. We had a little bit of problems, but so glad we worked that out. Um, and to my audience, thank you for tuning in to I Love You Packages, where I share all things to help improve your marriages. And today I have some experts here. They're a husband and wife duo, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Okay,
Okay.
we are the Holmes. I'm Myra, and this is my husband, Michael.
Mhm.
Sometimes we say M&M.
Yeah, I like that. How
And
long? Mhm.
oh, I was going to say, and we started a business called Life Mates,
Mhm.
LIFEM, the numeral 8 and Z, because we just wanted to give back to marriages and help marriages in our community to be stronger and healthier.
I love it because we need so much help. Marriages are failing, and there's so much help out there now. So it's always good to see someone trying to help in that area. How long have you guys been married?
We've been married for 42 years,
Oh my
and we've
gosh.
been together as a couple for 45 years.
Wow. That is a long time. You
Yeah.
guys you guys look about 45 years
Thank you. We'll take it.
Really? Oh my goodness. And you guys wrote a book called Fighting for Your Military Marriage.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right. How long were you in the military? And who was in the military? Was it just
I was in the military,
Mhm.
and my active duty career was 27 years.
Okay.
Retired in the grade of colonel. Also came as a military dependent. So
Oh,
my
okay.
dad is retired chief master sergeant, and
Mhm.
so I have 20 years of being a military dependent. And the reason I like to say that is that many of our couples, they're military.
Mhm.
We understand the challenges, the unique challenges facing military couples, and we just thought that that was just a good way to introduce ourselves, and that tends to be the number one reason why couples come to us.
Okay, that was what I was going to say. Why what made you and your wife decide to write such a book for marriage couples?
We thought about the couples and the way people think.
Mhm.
Marriage, you don't have to get married nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
what they
so
say.
we want them to know that marriages do still work,
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
but you have to do the work.
right.
And there are lots of couples, young couples out there that are um, trying new and different kind
Mhm,
of relationships.
mhm.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
you
Yeah.
know, what do they call it?
Mon oh gosh, it is an M, monotony, like when they're oh, is that where you're going?
Polyamorous
Yeah,
Polyamorous, yeah.
polyamorous
yeah.
relationships.
Yes.
And
It's crazy.
we talked to one young lady and said, you know, where's the evidence that shows you that this is going to work? It's great for the guys, but if you
Mhm.
end up getting pregnant and having a
Right.
child and another one,
Right.
and then he decides it's time to trade you in for a younger, more slender
Mhm.
model.
Yeah. It just keeps
True.
going on and
On
Yeah,
on.
and on.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
like when is the man gonna be satisfied? And women keep feeding into that, like the value is just going down and
Mhm,
down, and
mhm.
it's crazy. It's crazy out there.
It is.
yes, it
It
is.
is.
It is. Um, can you tell us a little bit about your book? Share some
We
things.
titled the book "Fighting for Your Military Marriage."
Mhm.
We kind of struggled between writing a generic book that was open of focused on all marriages, or
Mhm.
but a mentor of mine said you want to niche it down and you really want to find your target audience.
Right.
And he said the military marriages out there,
Mhm.
they're hurting. And
Mhm.
I said, yeah, you're right. And so we decided to go ahead and write the book focused on military marriages, but I'll tell people you can take the cover and cross out military.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Everything in the book applies to you.
All marriages.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are one of the problems with the military marriages that you would say? Is it because of the traveling a lot, or like is a major problem?
Some of it is the travel, the
Mhm.
constant deployments. I have seen husband and wife teams where the husband gets back and the wife, if she's active duty, she's spitting up to go out. And so
Oh,
their marriage over 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, you look at it and they maybe have only been together for maybe 3 years out of that 10-year period of time because of
wow.
and so that takes a toll on the relationship.
Hmm.
Mom's coming back, and when you got a newborn or a toddler, and you're
Hmm.
gone for 9 months, 6 months, nine
Yeah.
months, sometimes they don't remember who you are,
Oh
and
gosh.
and that's heartbreaking. That's
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
I can only imagine. Yeah, just not even seeing your spouse for that period of time. Who knows what can happen? Like maybe somebody can move on, or
Mhm.
you really have to be committed and strong, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
technology is good if it's available,
Hmm.
so that you can do like this
Right.
Zoom
Right.
sessions and FaceTime sessions. But depending where you are, you may not have the bandwidth your organization may not have the bandwidth to support that. So it's just one of the risks that comes with the lifestyle.
Mm, yeah. Um, in your book, you talk about critical skills in order to ensure mission success. Can you share a little bit about the critical skills?
I would say the bottom line. You want to jump in? I heard her. I heard her over there. I've learned a long time ago. Listen to your wife.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
He heard you.
We have one major skill that we like to implement,
Mhm.
introduce to them. And that is hand to hand, knee to knee, eye to eye
Hmm.
communication.
Okay.
Sit and have your conversations like that. And that's
Oh,
one of the skills that you will be seen, felt, and heard.
wow.
Each partner would be.
And many of our couples, when we have them do that, we initially have them sit there, hand to hand, eye to eye, knee to knee,
Mhm.
kind of like
Mhm.
this,
Mhm.
and but sit there for a period of time where it's just silence,
Right.
and they're
Mm,
looking at each other. They're looking
wow.
into each other's eyes.
Mhm.
And sometimes there's a little bit of giggling because
Giggling.
it feels a little uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes we've seen it where this one spouse or the other, sometimes both, will break down in
Right.
tears
Mm,
because they may have been married 5 years or 7 years, but they
haven't
haven't
looked
sat
at
down
each other.
and looked at each other and truly
Exactly.
seen each other
Mhm.
in that
Wow.
length of time. You do it when you're courting, you do it when you're dating,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but we tend to become lose our discipline. The
Mhm.
things that we used to do,
Right.
together,
Right.
stop doing in marriage, and
Mhm.
it's complacent. We grow complacent.
Wow. Yep. My husband and I, we did counseling. One time we were sitting in counseling and I was like, we're leaving. We were mad, just so mad at
Uh-huh.
each other. And throughout the session, I didn't even know we were knee to knee, hand to hand, or whatever you say, and
Mhm.
the counselor was like, "Y'all aren't going anywhere. Look at you, just it's all over each other." And it was just
Uh-huh.
in the
Mhm.
middle of it. It was like, wow, okay. So I could see how that helps though in a hard conversation,
Mhm.
because that
Mhm.
could be the focus. Okay, we love each other. We're not trying to leave each other. Let's just talk about this and let
Right.
us
Mhm.
feel each other.
Mhm.
Right. And that's a great way. Any
Mhm.
more
And if you
share?
act in loving, if you act in loving ways,
Hmm.
loving feelings will follow.
Mhm.
If you act in loving ways, loving feelings will follow. But what ends up happening in relationships, a lot of time we do grow complacent,
Mhm.
and we
Hmm.
start talking to the couple start talking not to each other but at each other.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
And what we try to do is reignite that spark, take them back to when they first met, when they first kissed, when they first made love, and take them
Mm,
back to that time. And you can see it coming back. It's just kind of washing over them
Mhm.
as they do it. But we also have some couples, we take them back. Tell us about your story. Tell us how you met.
Mm.
And they're like, we met on Plenty of Fish. Okay. What happened after that? You know, what happened after that?
That's
Yeah.
fine, but you got a story. Come on, remember it.
Right. Yeah. It does
And so
matter, right?
and
Yeah.
we'll share our story. We'll talk about the moon, full moon, and our first kiss and all that kind of stuff. But we share it so that they can see, okay, wait a second. I need to go back and really sit
Right.
down. We need to go back and really sit down and recreate
Right.
that time, that magic when we
Mm.
first met early on in our relationship.
Oh, awesome. Awesome tips. Yeah. Um, in your opinion, both of you, what is one of the biggest problems in a marriage that you see?
One of the biggest problems I see is too often getting married for a business venture.
Mm.
This is what I can bring to the
Mm-hmm,
table, and this is
Mhm.
what I bring to the table. And
Mm.
it's not about a business deal.
Right.
But a lot of couples, they get into that. If we can make money,
Mm.
we will be fine.
Wow. That is like the new thing too.
That is the new thing. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
People, and that is like the number one question now. What are
Mhm.
you bringing to the
What are you
table?
bringing?
What do you bring to the
Exactly.
table?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
Oh boy. Hmm.
Well, I would say, first of all, I don't like the word problem.
Hmm.
Problem is something that weighs you down. Problem is a burden. You know,
Mm.
I like to say, what's the major challenge facing couples? A
Mm.
challenge is something that you endeavor to overcome.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
Mm.
and I think that, you know, I would say the number one challenge
Mm.
facing couples, we used to say it was about communication
Right.
and conflict resolution. But as we work with more and more couples, we changed that. We realized, and I've already used the word several times during this session, that it's complacency.
Hmm.
That you say you love the
Mhm.
person, but when you look at their lives and the way that they interact with each other,
Right.
that spark isn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we do is we take them back to what are some of the things that your mate does that make you feel loved.
Hmm.
You know, what are some of the things that you do for your mate because you're trying to communicate your love for them? What are
Right.
some of the things that you used to do, but you realize now we don't do that anymore.
Right.
When we
Yep.
used to do that, it made us
Mhm.
feel loved. And we'll have them, we actually have a heart and we have them fill it out and then sit down and talk about those things and identify what are the top three that you want your mate to do for you
Mhm.
out of all the
Mm.
things you've written down here, you know, because many times in relationships, we think that our mate is a mind reader.
Right.
Mm.
And you can sit down. How many times have you had that full conversation in your head?
Yep.
If he doesn't do this, if he doesn't do that, then I'm just gonna lay down in the bed and I'm gonna turn my back to him.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have the whole conversation, and you're sitting there, you're looking at your mate like you get up in the morning, and you think it. I'm so mad at you right now, and he can tell that something's wrong. He can tell that there's something wrong, but he's not a mind reader.
Right.
Right. Oh my
So
gosh.
we take them back to hand to hand. This is our universal symbol for saying we need to talk.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We need to
Yeah.
talk in a loving way. And
Yeah.
then I can sit down and I can say, Myra, last night when you did this, when you said this,
Hmm.
it made me feel dishonored.
Mhm.
Mm.
I felt like I was thrown under the bus. But to have that conversation without yelling, without maintaining, keeping your tempers in check,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you're connecting with one another
Right.
and you're truly communicating with one another. And ideally, he's stepping into her world and she's stepping into his world to try
Hmm.
to get a feel for see things from their mate's perspective.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. And I love that. I ask that question all the time, and I've heard money issues and communication was the top ones. So
Mhm.
I've never heard that complacency. And what Myra said, that is a new thing. You know, what are you bringing to the table? But yeah, I'm going to agree with both of you. I agree with that complacency. I think we definitely get too comfortable with each other,
Absolutely.
and we have to be intentional about, a lot of things, intentional about just showing love, caring for one another, and just intentional about serving one
Mm.
another, and we do get very comfortable. It's like, I got you now.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Right.
And so, yeah, that's awesome. Um, so, what do you do if one spouse, like, how does your counseling work if one spouse wants to work on their marriage, but the other one doesn't? Do you need both the couples there, or is there a technique where just one can work on themselves?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
We would recommend to that spouse that wants to work on their marriage
Hmm.
to work on themselves
Mhm.
and just kind of go back to when they first got together with their mate and just start doing those things they used to do. I
Mm.
used to do her hair, do her the way she dressed,
Hmm.
because I'm sure she got comfortable
Yeah.
with the way
Yeah.
she was dressing, just I can just lounge or whatever. And
Hmm.
once she start doing those things again, I think that'll start sparking some interest again.
Yeah, and you look lovely, by the way. Your
Oh,
wife is beautiful. She has a style. I haven't found my style yet, but I try to keep myself up. But it's a difference when you have a style and you keep yourself up. You have a style with the hat and the
oh,
the
thank
hair.
you.
I love it.
Oh.
Um, is there a certain couple that your book would not work for?
I would say that would be a couple that's not willing to do the work.
Right.
Yeah,
We
I
tell
would
couples
agree.
from day one, we say, Meyer and I, we don't save marriages, we don't save relationships.
Yeah.
What we do is we mentor you, we
Mhm.
guide you. We're here to help you work through those tough, knotty issues in your
Mhm.
relationship. And at the
Mhm.
most important time isn't the time we have in our sessions. The most important time is the time between the sessions
Right.
when you apply, when you implement, when
Exactly.
you integrate a lot of the techniques and tools that we share with them. You integrate those into your marriage, your marriage.
Yes.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, that's very true. They have to be willing to put in the work, or else what's going to happen? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I love quotes. I love quotes. And we went to a seminar and a gentleman, he was up, talking about his book. And he and his wife, they shared one quote that marriage is hard work,
Hmm. But marriage is also heart work.
Mm.
but
Yep.
both hard work and the hard work are
Mhm.
worth the work.
Wow. Oh,
And
I like that.
yeah. And
Mhm.
and that's what marriage is about. It
Right.
is about, doing the work. And
Mm.
when you're passionate about what you're doing and you're committed to what you're doing, that hard work is very rewarding.
Yes.
Right.
Be
Yep.
very rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to nurture your marriage just like you would nurture your infant, your child. Like, it's very precious. I say it's precious cargo.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you have to nurture it, cherish it, and do those things, to keep it alive, to keep it
Mhm.
going. We've
Mm.
been married going on 25 years, my husband and I.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And so we're trying, but I like to bring the experts. That's why you guys are here, because I'm not an expert. Not only do you and your wife did you write a book together, but you also work together and doing marriage counseling, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how do you guys maintain a work environment? I know back in they would always say, don't work together. The couples should not work together. You shouldn't work because of the fights and stuff.
Mhm.
How do you maintain a work environment? Are there any fights? Did you have to, um, you know, make some rules, lay down some rules before you started working together? Like, how do you maintain that?
Well, we started working together, and it has been, rewarding. I mean, we just talk, but we work, we do the work, we can talk about work,
Mhm.
Then we can cut it off.
Yeah.
You have to cut it off,
And we
right?
had to learn that though,
Mm.
because we would get ready for bed and we're
Mhm.
still talking about the couples, get into bed, we're still talking about the couples. We said, that's it. No
Mhm.
talking about the couples in the bed
Get them
at
out of our bed.
all, at all.
Wow. So if it comes up to you, be like, shh, no,
Nope.
no.
Oh yeah,
You gotta cut
she'll catch me, I'll catch her, and we, but we're pretty good about it
Yeah,
now.
we
When we first started,
yeah.
we would sometimes get into bed and we'd be talking about have all these people in there. Like, we need a bigger bed.
Wow, that is some way to look at it.
But I will say this is that during the COVID, during the quarantine, um, our business, the number of clients we had went up. It skyrocketed. And we actually got to a point where we were like, we don't want to take on anymore because
Wow.
we're kind of semi-retired, and but we're there to help couples,
Mm.
and we just realized that during that COVID and that quarantine, we were enjoying it.
Yeah.
We were enjoying spending the time together.
Wow.
And I mean, she's my best friend.
That
And,
is so awesome.
but we also realized that we needed to sometimes break it off, whether it's like, break it off at 1 and then we come down and or because she's very passionate about
Mm.
quilting and crocheting. I call it tying knots, but very passionate about that. So she's got a room upstairs that's like her sewing and quilting room, and she'll go up there and she'll work for a couple hours, and then I'll get lonely downstairs and I'll call her up or text her like, when are you coming down?
Oh, after 45 years, that is so
Yeah.
beautiful. I
We
love it.
one of the things I like to do, and I made it. I told her, I said, my goal is make you laugh every day.
Yeah.
Make you laugh every day. I like music, and there's a British artist, Joan Armatrading, and one of her songs, the lyric goes, and with a lover, I can hold my head back and really laugh, really laugh.
Mm.
We do a lot of
A
that.
lot of
We do a
laughing.
lot of laughing.
Yeah. My husband and I do too. He's always making me laugh. Sometimes I try not to laugh because he thinks he's so funny, but but he really is. And he always gets me because I would always say he was the serious one, the serious face, and he's so
Mhm.
serious when we met. And he's like, "And now I just make you laugh all day long. You're the serious one." Yeah, it does help the relationship. And you could tell you guys are so happy. I mean, after 45 years and he's looking for you. And then during COVID to stop not wanting to do the work because you were enjoying each other. People were going crazy. Couples, they
Yeah.
were going
Yeah.
absolutely bonkers. And so many people got divorced after.
They really did.
Yeah.
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 Oh gosh, yeah. My husband and I, we were enjoying it too. We did. We enjoyed it. We were enjoying our backyard, just sitting down and talking and just enjoying the family,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it that's something else.
I want to share one thing.
Mhm.
Being a military dependent, I moved an average of every 3 years of my life.
Wow.
Early on. I went to 3 different high schools, one in Dover, Delaware, one and then I went to that was my freshman year, my sophomore year in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Mhm.
In my junior and senior year, I graduated from high school in the Philippines, Republic of the Philippines. And
Mm.
when Mara and I were dating early on, I told her, I said, I don't know what it's like to have a relationship longer than about 2.5, 3 years. Because my entire
Wow.
life I've moved. And it's like I've
Mm.
got this clock inside me.
Wow.
And you get to about that 3-year point, okay, it's time to move.
Yeah.
Friends, new crop of girls, but and we had a conversation about that because it was a real concern for me.
Mm.
But what I found is that settling down, especially when we had our first assignment back here to Virginia
Mhm.
was that, yeah, I think I can make it. I can do it.
Mm.
And then I think I can came to I know I can. So,
Oh, when did you guys start? So you started the counseling after you retired?
no, we actually started while I was still actually I started in college,
Mm.
crisis intervention counselor. I was a psychology major.
Okay.
They wanted us to do an internship. And
Mm.
so I volunteered to get trained as crisis intervention counselor. Went through it was like a 12-week program,
Mm.
teaching you how to handle all the different calls, teenage pregnancy, suicide prevention, homeless,
Mm.
drug overdose. And what I found was the more calls I got, and the more challenging calls, the more I enjoyed it.
Wow.
So when I graduated, got my commission, um, my first assignments, once I got settled in, I volunteered for the local crisis intervention center there in Great Falls, Montana.
Mm.
And then we went down to Virginia, or excuse me, California. And
Okay.
I did the same. And so it was something that I've always been passionate about. And then as we got closer to retirement, we were thinking about what is it that we want to do with the second half of our life.
Mm.
One of the things in the back of my mind was I would love to do something with Myra versus me doing something on my own that separated us, because we
Mm.
really do enjoy being together.
Yeah.
So this was something that we were able to work on together. The book we're very proud of because it's both of our voices. I
Mm.
tend to talk a little bit more than Myra.
No.
But the book allowed her to, move me to the side and for her to speak her truth onto those pages. And
Yeah.
because there are always questions that, women have, well, why did you stay with,
So
Because we weren't always perfect,
Right.
we're not a perfect couple. And
right.
when we were young, we did all the things that young couple did clubbing and work hard,
Mm.
play hard mentality, and that goes with being in the military. And
Mm.
stepped on some boundaries.
Yeah.
But we made it, and some of those other couples didn't. So again, that was one of the reasons why we opted to co-author the book, Fighting for Your Military Marriage, because again, that's another one of the things that brings couples to us is they like the fact that we're a husband and wife team.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
It's
both
awesome.
feel that they're going to be heard.
Yeah. Yep. That makes a difference because then there's no bias. Yeah. My husband and we like to work together too. We kind of he's created an environment for us to work together because he feels like, we should have that time. We need to spend time together throughout the day, because that's how it was back in the days. It wasn't always, hey, good morning, goodbye for the day, 8 and 12 hours, and you come back, you're so exhausted, how can you don't, where's the relationship, So that's important that we do have something that we work on together. And so this is part of it too. Hopefully soon he'll be able to do these interviews with me. But he's got a lot going on and we did create a journal together. So
Perfect.
yeah, and so that's how we try to maintain some togetherness. Yeah. But before we run out of time, is there anything that you want to say to the ladies and you want to say to men about marriage? I know we said a lot, and that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I think one I will say, we really are committed to fighting the battle to wage war against divorce. That the majority of the couples that we see that their relationships end, they have prematurely selected divorce, which is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. That temporary problem, it doesn't matter whether lack of communication, we argue all the time, we seem like we don't get along, our personalities are different. He had an affair, she had an affair. All of those can be overcome.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we think that doing the thing that feels good, when your mate hurts you, sometimes you want to hurt them back.
Yeah.
And you got to be, if you can break that cycle and commit to doing the work, you can overcome anything. And what you'll find is that you're not giving in, you're not surrendering. What you'll find is that as you do that, as you overcome each relationship challenge, you'll find your relationship growing stronger and stronger, and the two of you growing closer together.
Awesome. Yeah. I always say, resist that urge to hurt your spouse.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to keep that in your mind. Resist that urge. Nope, we're gonna not today. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, you guys. It's been a blessing. I'm gonna end it before the video ends. And thank you guys for tuning in to my channel. Don't forget to check out our His and Her To-Do List Marriage Challenge journals. The link will be in the description box, and I will also share the link to your book, Fighting for Your Military Marriage.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
This is fun.
Yeah, this was. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you
And
for having us.
all right.